True FM. Dito tayo sa totoo.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Mainit at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa sports, kumpleto yan dito sa Power and Play. Mula sa mga paborito at naglalakihang atleta hanggang sa mga natatanging Pinoy sports figures na dapat nyong makilala. Ihahatid yan dito sa Power and Play.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin.
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Bawat Pilipino na merong taglay na galing. Bangon na, bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Pilipinas tayo na.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na pagpapatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ng Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Aniga. Sama-sama pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino. Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy.
Power and Play is presented by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin. Ibida ang hilig ng bawat Pilipino na merong taglay na galing. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Power and Play. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Pilipinas tayo na, bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na. Bangon na. Bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na.
Carlos Eala with 2 gold medals. Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Malugod po namin kayong tinatanggap sa isa na naman pagtatanghal ng Power and Play, ang inyong pong paboritong kasama tuwing almusal, tuwing Sabado po ng umaga. Kamusta po kayong lahat? Sana'y nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan. September 21 na pala, kukunti na lamang araw at tapos na naman ang isang buwan. At papasok na po tayo ng Oktubre, pambihira nga naman ang buhay. No? Pero sana po'y mahusay at maayos kayong lahat bagamat patuloy ang pag-uulan sa ating pong kapaligiran. Kahit hindi naman ganong kalakasan, tayo po'y mag-iingat sapagkat yan ang talagang nakakapagdulot ng sakit. Binabati po natin lahat ng ating mga suki sa Radyo 5, 92.3 True FM. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, lalong-lalo na yung mga papasok na sa kanilang mga tanggapan o di kaya ay pauwi galing sa mga call center o yung pong mga nag-duty sa mga ospital. At lalong-lalo na rin yung ating mga kaibigang security guard. Atin rin pong sina-shout out ang mga nanonood sa atin sa 1PH on Signal TV. Diyan po sa lugar ng Batangas City, sa Lipa, diyan po sa Lucena City sa Quezon at sa iba pa pong parte ng ating bansa. And of course, all over the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening sa lahat po na nanonood sa atin sa Facebook Live ng Power and Play, 1PH at ng Radyo 5. Ako po si Noli, Eala, and of course, hindi po makukumpleto ang ating umaga kung hindi natin kasama ang ating partner at kaibigan, the man for all seasons, si Jera Season. Magandang umaga, partner.
Magandang umaga, partner. Doon sa sinabi ni partner Noli, ang sasabihin ko na lang, hello world! Welcome to Power and Play.
Talagang ang bilis ng panahon, partner. Ha? Isipin mo, tapos na naman ng Setyembre, papasok na ang Oktubre. At medyo ngayon, yung pangaliga rin, nagsisimula ng umakyat. Dahil alam natin, ang PBA, ang PBA na lamang, patapos na ang kanilang elimination round.
Oh.
At napakahigpit ng... medyo nakikita na natin kung sino yung mga pumapasok. Lalo na sa mga pool, yung isang pool, yung pool A. Pero yung pool B, meron pa yata pinaglalabanan doon, partner.
Oo, kaya nga. Pero actually, ako'y natutuwa personally dahil simula nung nagkaroon ng konting problema tong PBA, 'di ba? Medyo pinapansin natin.
Oo.
Pero ngayon yung mga sinasabi natin mga kulelat medyo kumikikig, 'di ba nakakasilat pa katulad ng terra firma.
Nakaisa.
Nakaisa. Kisa naman dating wala.
Pero kagaya ng Converge, sabi mo mga dating kulelat, ang Converge last year, yan ang pinakailalim.
Kita mo?
O ngayon papasok sa susunod na round ang Converge doon po sa Pool A at kung ating pong hihimayin yan, ang papasok ngayon sa Pool A na sigurado na, ito pong TNT na number 1 with the 7-2 record, tapos po susundan yan ng Meralco dito sa mga sumusunod sa PBA. Meralco na may 6-3 at kahapon po nanalo yung Magnolia kontra ng NLEX.
No. Magnolia.
Northport. Tama. At pumasok na rin po ang Magnolia na may kartadang 5-4, katabla ng Converge na meron ding 5-4. Sipin mo, Converge.
Di ba? Yung ang maganda Nakikita ngayon natin, tayo mga PBA fans, tayo mga sumusubaybay dyan, na nagbabago na talaga. Di ba? Paakyat na parang sabihin na hindi lang iilan lang ang talagang nananalo dito.
Well, makikita mo kasi yun ding pagpasok ng mga bagong players ang key dyan. Pangalawa dyan, of course, yung pagpili ng magaling na import. Alam mo kasi yung although nanalo nga ang Terra Firma ng isa, siguro among all of the imports, siguro yung kanila ang pinakamahina. Kaya, again, a matter of making your team competitive.
Correct.
Partner. Ngayon, doon sa kabilang group, doon po sa mga sumusunod, ang nangunguna po dyan, kita mo naman,
si
rain
Idol
or
yan.
shine.
Si Idol yan.
Si Idol.
Ilang bilyon ang maipapasok sa
sa PSC.
sa PSC.
Rain or shine po ang lumalamang dyan na meron pong kartadang 7-2. Sumunod po ang San Miguel na may 6-3. Barangay Ginebra ay 6-3 din, no? At finally ang NLEX at Blackwater Bossing ang naglalaban para dun sa huling pwesto sa quarterfinals.
Depende na lang sa mga susunod na laban. Alam ko itong ngayon at bukas ang huling laban ng mga elimination.
Mahalaga yan. Mahalaga yung mga laro po this weekend. And talking about this weekend, mga kapatid, marami rin po mga laro. Ang collegiate basketball, of course. Ang UAAP, ang Ateneo, may laban mamaya. Laban sa Adamson. Wala pa pong panalo. Ang Ateneo na lamang kaisa-isang kuponan sa UAAP na hindi pa nananalo, partner.
Oo nga parang bumaliktad ang mundo sa kanila.
Again, yan ang tinatawag din na umiikot lamang.
Umiikot.
Makikita natin ngayon yung mga nasa, kagaya ng UST. UST mo.
Syempre kayo, lumalaban ngayon.
Nasa taas na ngayon. Nasa third place yata ang UST with a 2-1 record. So, makikita natin na talagang umiikot din ang laban dyan. And of course, Ateneo still looking for their first win. Ang UE ay nanalo na nung isang araw, kaya hindi na sila kulelat. Kaya, maraming nagtatanong, meron pa kaya magagawa ang Ateneo? Again,
meron pa yan. One big fight. Meron ba yan?
Puro fight.
Hindi, meron ko one big fight, walang yung panalo. Pero hindi, lalaban yan. Diba, syempre, let's give it to Tab Baldwin at yung mga nangyari, mga developments before the opening ng UAP. Medyo nagkaroon ng, sa Madyong, nagkahalo-halo. Hindi tama. Maganda yung nakuha mga baraha.
Oo, tama. Magandang analogy yan. Yung mga nakakaintindi ng Madyong, alam niyo mo yung sinasabi ni partner Jero dito. But again, yan po ang buhay sa sports. Umiikot lamang ang tagumpay. hopefully, ganun nga. Because ayaw naman natin yung lagi kang nasa ilalim, no?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're talking about malapit na rin po magsimula ang NBA, mga
Yun,
kapatid.
isa pa yun.
October 23 ang pagsisimula ng NBA sa Amerika. So, October 24 dito. Sa kulang-kulang na lang po ng isang buwan bago magsimula ang NBA. And again, tinututukan po natin ang mga developments yan. Sa mga susunod na linggo, ating pag-uusapan po ang NBA. Pero ngayong araw pong ito, ang ating pong magiging mga bisita, mga bigatin po mamaya ha. Ang ating pong makakausap mamaya para tayo ay bigyan ng update and of course makakamusta rin natin mga kapatid ang development ng ating national team sa basketball. Walang iba kundi si Barangay Ginebra Kings head coach Tim Cone. Mamaya po yan ha, para rin makamusta natin. Dahil ang Ginebra, alam naman natin yun talagang mabagal lang sisimula niyan Parang ano yan, diesel talaga Pero nakikita mo ngayon, nagpipick up na. At yung kanilang sistema, nagiging very familiar na yung mga bago nilang players. So, mamaya po ating magiging bisita si Coach Tim Cone ng Ginebra at ng Gilas, Pilipinas. Dahil meron na rin pong parating na qualifier. This November. At gusto po natin kamustahin kung paano na po ang pag-select ng mga player na lalaro muli diyan sa qualifier. Ha? And then, mamaya rin po ating makakapanayam ang ating pong pinagmamalaking tennis phenom.
Sino yun? Hawig ng apelyido mo yun
Apelyido lang. Alex Eala, mga kapatid, mamaya po yan ha. Sa Power and Play, atin po siya nakausap mula sa Spain at napakarami rin pong nabanggit siya. Kasama na yung pagre-retiro ng kanyang ina. Alam mo, nagretiro yung mother ni Alex, isang telco. And of course, malaking bagay yun alam mo sa pamilya. So we talked about that and maganda ang kanyang mga insights doon po sa development ng kanilang pamilya. Mamaya po yan, abangan nyo sa In the Spotlight si Alex Eala. Of course, marami pa po tayong pag-usapan. Pero siyempre, simulan na po natin sa mga maiinit na issue at topics ngayong linggo sa What's the Score?
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Paparangalan ng PBA Press Corps si Sonny Jaworski ng Lifetime Achievement Award sa kanilang 30th Annual Awards Night. Marami ang nagtuturing kay Jawo bilang the GOAT, yung pong greatest of all time, hindi po kambing, ng Philippine basketball. Kaya talaga namang deserve niya ang parangalang o ang parangal na ito. At kaugnay ng award na yan, pinag-uusapan natin ngayong linggo kung dapat na bang mag-launch ang SBP ng hiwalay na Annual Philippine Basketball Hall of Fame Awards. Yung PBA po kasi naglungsad noong taong 2005 pero 2013 pa ang huling induction doon sa PBA Hall of Fame. Kulang pa ba sa legends ang Pilipinas para gawin ito? Sinong mga non-players ang pasok sa kategorya ng Hall of Fame sa Pilipinas? At yan po ang ating pag-usapan ngayon. So What's the Score? Partner, alam mo ito, alam ko itong topic na to. Sabagat in 2005, nung inilunsad niyang Hall of Fame ng PBA, ako po yung nagmungkahi niyan. At panahon ko po yan, at ako po ang nagtulak para magkaroon ng Hall of Fame. Alam mo kasi ako, nung araw pa, alam mo naman nung panahon na yun, tinulak din natin yung Toyota Crispa Reunion Game.
Oo.
Binuo ko po yung...
Nanood ako nun, ha?
Nanood ka ba nun?
Nanood ako nun.
Ikaw pala yun! Binuo din natin yung Leo Awards na ngayon ay Annual Awards. Ito sinimulan din po natin yung June Bernardino Trophy. Yan yung Philippine Cup Trophy. Ito po ay pagpaparangal doon sa mga nauna sa atin sa basketball. Ito po ay pagbibigay pugay sa mga taong naging susi para lumaki ang PBA.
Nakapagbigay ng malaking contribution.
And alam naman natin, may kasabihan po na ang taong hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan, hindi makakarating sa paroroonan. O di kaya matatapilok. Pag puro tingin ka sa likod. Pero again, mga kapatid, ginawa po natin yung PBA Hall of Fame noong taong 2005 at nakakalungkot na 2013 pala, kasi hindi ko na nasundan yan 2013 pa pala na hindi sila, ang huli nilang induction. Kaya, partner, itong sinasabi natin ngayon sa What's the Score, panahon na kaya
Talagang actually napapanahon eh.
na magtayo ng bago?
Oh, palagay ko parang now that SBP is at the helm of the entire basketball program of our country, palagay ko it's high time to do this. Ngayon, pagpalagay mo, para sa akin lang, this is just my opinion, no? Pagpalagay mo, dahil talagang marami na tayong naparangalan nung sa PBA. Pero as a governing body of Philippine basketball, kailangan may hiwalayan. I don't know if they have done that. Kaya maski na ulitin mo si Danny Florencio, okay lang. Ulitin mo si Francis Arnaiz or si Senator Ambrosio Padilla, okay lang. Because they deserve it.
At saka, ang SBP ay sakop hindi lamang professional sports. Tandaan niyo po,
Exactly.
ang PBA Hall of Fame, dun lang sa mga naglaro sa
Exactly.
PBA.
That's my point nga. Ito, talaga sila yung governing body. Even amateur players, katulad nga, sabi ko nga, yung si Senator Ambrosio Padilla, wala pa naman professional league, no? Pwede mong iparangalan, di ba? Sila
Chito Lizaga.
Charlie
Ay,
Bajon.
hindi, si Kaloy Lizaga
Kaloy pala.
Si Chito, naglalaro ng golf pa rin doon.
Di ba? Sila Charlie Bajon.
Boy,
Yung mga ganun.
mga
di ba?
pangalang...
naririnig ko lang yun sa tatay ko.
Panahon mo yan tayo,
Hindi,
partner,
tatay ko.
Tatay mo. Okay,
Tatay ko.
approve.
Dahil sa USC, siya raw yung may bicycle na sinasabi. Pagka nagleleya, para raw nagbibisikleta eh. Yung mga ganun ba, no? It's high time for them to be recognized again. Ngayon, ang question, sa akin lang partner, no, di ba? Sa NBA, di ba, merong Hall of Famer. Sa PBA, meron rin tayo, pero hindi tuloy-tuloy, unlike sa PBA, unlike sa NBA. Pero syempre, we also have to give it to PBA, although hindi natuloy, dahil 1975 lang eh. Di ba? Hindi katulad ng NBA, 1950s pa yata yan eh. Kaya talagang ang dami nilang talagang, at saka madaming teams. Di ba? Sa atin.
Marami ang pipilian.
Marami ang pagpipilian.
Actually, sa Amerika, marami rin pong mga Hall of Fame awards. Yung Naismith Hall of Fame. Yung FIBA Hall of Fame. Meron din internationally. And then, of course, kakalungsad lang ng FIBA Hall of Fame actually. Ginawa ng sa World Cup yun eh.
Kaya nga, bakit hindi pwedeng gawin ng
Then, of
SBP?
course, the NBA Hall of Fame. Dito po sa ating bansa, of course, meron tayong Olympians, yung mga Hall of Fame na ginagawa po ng Philippine Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
And then, of course, yung kung sa basketball, ayun pong PBA Hall of Fame. Now, maganda yung punto ni partner Jera dito eh. Kasi talaga pong marami namang player na hindi naglaro sa PBA.
Exactly.
At meron din pong mga personalidad na nakatulong sa basketball na hindi naging involved sa PBA.
Sila
I mean, maraming magsasabi controversial, pero kagaya halimbawa ng nasirang Lito Puyat na matagal na nagsilbi bilang pangulo ng hindi lamang ng Basketball Association ng Pilipinas, kung hindi ng Asian Basketball Confederation at ng FIBA World, yung buong mundo naging presidente si Lito Puyat, si Gonzalo Lito Puyat ng FIBA World. Nandiyan pa of course yung mga ibang mga amateur na hindi na nakarating ng PBA.
Naririnig ko pa dati, pero hindi ko talaga. Si Moying Martelino. Di ba?
Si Kamoying.
Si Kamoying, di ba? Malaki rin ang kanyang contribution during that time sa Philippine basketball.
Exactly. Diba? Kaya, but ang punto dito is, again, sana ang mga officials, lalo-lalo na po sa SBP, ay marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan. Kasi alam niyo po talagang, unang-una, alam naman natin ang kasaysayan ng SBP. Yan ay nakuha o nabuo dahil dun sa sigalot nung nangyari sa BAP at saka ng Basketball Pilipinas. Bago po yan naging SBP, meron pong Basketball Association of the Philippines na namumuno sa ating bansa. Biglang nagkagulo yan dahil umalma ang mga organisasyon sa pamumuno o sa palalakad ng BAP, nagtayo ng Basketball Pilipinas, mga kapatid. Yung pong away na yon, nagbunga sa napakaraming conference na tayo po'y nakasama pamula po 2004 hanggang 2007. Kung saan-saan kami nakarating para po maayos lamang yung pong pagkakasuspindi natin ng basketball.
Sa FIBA.
Nabuo po yung Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. And again, yung SBP, ang pakay talaga niyan dapat ay pagbuuin ang basketball community at ika nga, iangat ang laro ng basketball sa Pilipinas. Kaya yung pag-angat na yun, sa akin partner, kasama doon ang pagpaparangal sa mga dating naglaro ng basketball.
Dahil kung isipin mo relatively malalim-lalim na rin ang baul natin para i-recognize yung mga dating mga nakapag-contribute ng malaki sa kasaysayan ng basketball natin, no? Katulad nung Mika. It was established way back in 1938.
Ba?
1938
Tagal
pa yan.
na pala nun, ha?
Matagal pa, before yung during the American occupation. Hanggang laging independent sila, yung 1946 na talagang nakakuha na tayo ng kalayaan. Kaya doon nga umakyat tong Mika. Di ba? Nandiyan yung Yutibo. Iko. Di ba? Yung mga dati mga
Yung mga luma.
Marami tayong makukuha doon sa baul na yon para parangalan itong mga taong to.
Kasi limitado talaga ang PBA. Hanggang PBA lang sila.
1975 lang 1975.
At the same time, itong mga, mabuti nga't itong ating mga media, ito pong PBA press corps, kahit papano, naparangalan si Sonny Jaworski. Alam niyo po, ating pong pinagdarasal pa rin ang sana ang paggaling ni Big J, ni Sonny J, sa isa pong kapansanan na kanyang
rare disease.
na talagang pinagdaraanan. Pero again, wag na po nating intayin yung panahon na yun.
Yes, ngayon na.
Ngayon na po, lalong-lalo na yung mga namumuno ngayon ng basketball, alam naman po nating kailangan itong mga taong ito na sila ay makilala muli ng ating current na fans.
Alam mo ba, partner, idol na idol ko yan si Sonny Jaworski. Dahil nung elementary ako, sa mga intramurals namin, ang number ko sa basketball, 7. Ang tawag sa akin, Jeraski.
Sonny Jeraski.
Sonny Jeraski.
Well, yan po si Sonny Jeraski, pero hindi po paparangalan ng aking partner. Ang ating kailangan parangalan ay si Sonny Jaworski at tayo natutuwa. Sana nga ho ay matuloy itong annual Philippine Basketball Hall of Fame na hindi lang po PBA pero para sa lahat. Lalong-lalo na yung mga namuno ng NCAA na napakatagal na rin po yan.
Matagal na rin, NCAA.
UAAP, yung po sinasabi na yung mga Mika. Kahit po yung mga ligang lumaki din na PBL, yung PABL na precursor din yan ng amateur basketball ng mga 90s, late 80s and the 90s. So again,
PABL, no?
at marami pang iba. Isa pa, bigyan ko kayo. Halimbawa, yung mga announcer.
Isa pa yun.
Sila Joe Cantada. Sila
Smoking Joe.
Sila Emmy Arcilla, sila Dick Ildefonso,
Romy Quintanar.
Si nasirang Ronnie Nathaniels.
Yeah.
Kahit papaano ay nakatulong po lahat yan sa pag-unlad ng basketball. And again, we're hoping na kahit papaano ito po'y matugunan ng ating pong mga kasama sa Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Alright, mga kapatid by the way, talking about kapatid, may bago tayong kapatid dito sa show.
Yun.
Meron po tayong bagong kasama. Tayo po'y wini-welcome natin ng taus-puso ang bago pong kapamilya ng Power and Play na ang Shakey's Pizza, mga kapatid. At dito po sa Power and Play, simula po ngayon, tayo po'y maglulungsad ng tinatawag nating Shakey's Super League Corner. Ito po ay isa pong programa ng Shakey's Pizza ng pagsuporta sa larangan po ng women's volleyball. Ito nga, kagaya nito get ready sports fans, the Shakey's Super League Preseason Championship is back. Nagbabalik na. Simula po ng September 27 until November sa Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. Watch and witness the top 18 volleyball teams from the UAAP and the NCAA. Feel the thrill, the spikes, the blocks, and the unstoppable energy. Join us as we bring you every serve, every set, and every sensational moment live. Kaya po, tune in and watch the matches live via the following channels. Sa Facebook po, dun sa Shakey's Super League Facebook page. Sa TikTok, dun din po sa Shakey's @Shakey's Super League. Sa YouTube, and the games will also be live in Smart Live Stream app, free and open to all networks, also available on Smart Sports and Puso Pilipinas. Again, yan po ang Shakey's Super League starting next week po yan, September 27. And for the rest of the tournament, tayo po ay magbibigay ng mga updates tungkol po dito sa napakagandang torneo ng Shaky Super League, partner. Alam mo itong Shaky Super League, nagsimula to nung ako'y PSC chairman.
Oo.
Nung 2022. Na-tsempohan natin, nagsimula sila nito after a very long time na ang Shakies involved sa volleyball.
Yeah.
Natatandaan niyo po yung Shakies V-League.
Oh, yun.
Yung nagsimula ng PVL, yan ang nagsimula talaga. Shakies po, mga kapatid.
Doon nagkaroon ng exposure sila yung mga may mga players dati sa si Abi Maranan.
Yes. Yan.
Yeah.
'Di ba?
Oh.
Yan talaga ang nagsimula ng Shakies, yung volleyball sa ating bansa na lumaki po. At yan po ay nagsimula noong August 2022. Doon po pa sa sa Parañaque. Ito po ay tungkol sa women's volleyball. Meron silang iba't ibang kategory. Yung National Invitationals, yung pong kinabubuan ng lahat ng nagka-qualify dyan na iba't ibang mga kupunan, teams from college. Yung collegiate preseason na gagawin po nila sa September 27, yung pong Girls Volleyball Invitational. Ginagawa din po nila yan. And of course, marami na po nakapaglaro dyan sa kanilang National Invitational. So again, sana po isundan natin to sa Rizal Memorial, partner. At maganda mga laban dito sa Shakies Super League, mga kapatid. Again, September 27. Tandaan nyo po, Shakies Super League. Basta Shakies po, Shakies Pizza ang sponsor po nito. At kayo nagpapasalamat kay Mr. Vic Gregorio ng
Boss Vic.
Shakies Pizza Asia Ventures Incorporated. And then si Dr. Ian Laurel ng Athletics Events and Sports Management Group. Si Doc Ian, ating makakapanayam yan next week para pag-usapan niya ang Shakies Super League, partner.
Actually, yung kami tuwan-tuwa at kapartner natin ng Shakies, no? With open arms,
Yan. And,
open mouth,
Yeah.
and open tummy.
Hindi naman kami pihikan na Boss Vic. Kahit man lang manager's choice.
Yung sasabihin ko Kami mga manager dyan. Manager's choice.
Si producer Mike sabi, Mojos daw. Kahit Mojos, wala namang problema sa atin yan, Boss Vic. Si Reg Asa, yung isa pa nating kasama na in charge.
At saka,
Reg, wag mo kami kalimutan.
At saka maski na Sabado tayo, okay lang yan yung Friday special.
Yeah. Again, Shakies Super League, mga kapatid. Abangan nyo po yan. As usual, when we say Shakies Pizza, there's nothing like Shakies. Alright, mga kapatid, at this point, bago tayo mag-break, isa muna pong paalala mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete. Powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The GigaLife app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the GigaLife app do for me? Check your balance. Monitor your current subscription. Top up using debit credit card. Subscribe to the latest Giga promos. Monitor your data consumption. Auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network. One-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live more today! Sa amin pong pagbabalik, Cash or Bash time. And of course, mamaya po, Tim Cone and Alex Eala sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo at Joyride. Ang oras po natin, 8:29 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Shakies Pizza. There's nothing like Shakies.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart, ako.
Ito ang programang inaabangan, mga paborito mong paligsahan, impormasyon dito ay malalaman. Natagpuan mo na ba ang totoo sa'yo? 92.3 Radyo 5 True FM. Dito tayo sa totoo.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Hi, Bel Mariano here. May dream career ka ba? Kahit ano pa yan, push mo lang. Kung sa kusinang passion mo, let the world taste how sweet life can be. Or be an empowered athlete na kaya mag-inspire ng buong team. Or a purpose-driven influencer na kaya mag-spread ng positivity. Pursue your passion and let your sweetness shine with Juicy Cologne.
Wanna know what makes and hypens performances so explosive?
Dunkin' Choco Bang!
Explosive bawat bite kasi chocolate-coated na, Bavarian-filled pa. Explosive ang flavors kasi may 3 banging toppings na. Big Bang BTN, and Big Bang Nutty. Kaya
Isang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Naimbag na bigat kada kayo amin sa lahat po ng ating mga kasamahan sa Ilocos, lalo na sa San Esteban, Ilocos Sur at sa Vigan City. Kamusta po kayong lahat dyan? And of course, binabati rin natin ng mga nagsasapit ng kanilang mga birthday ngayong araw pong ito. Ha? Partner, meron siguro sa Pangasinan.
Hindi. Meron, una-una babatiin ko yung mga kamag-anak ko at mga pinsan ko sa Lingayen, Pangasinan. Masanto siya kabosan dito kayo namin. Ha? At meron rin tayong mga babatiin ng mga kaibigan natin sa media.
O ba? Sino to?
Ang dating senior reporter at media bureau head ng ABS-CBN sa Europe dati. Si Danny Buenafe. Birthday niya ngayon.
Happy birthday, Boss Danny!
At kasama natin mag-golf. Happy birthday, Danny. At also, ang ating kaibigan, ang top guy ng Spin.ph.
Uy!
Si Dodo Katakutan.
Oo.
Belated happy birthday. Parang
Dodo!
dito.
Hindi ka gumagalaw
Hindi
dyan.
ka
Hindi ka
gumagalaw dyan,
nagpaparamdam, ha?
Alam mo, hindi kita babatiin, ha?
Kala mo, hindi namin alam, ha? Do, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dodo.
Laging ano yan, very supportive si Dodo.
At gusto ko rin batiin, may malaking grupo na mga reporters na nagko-cover sa Kongreso. Oo. Nanunood pa lang regular sa atin. Ang tawag namin sa grupong to yung mga pasaway.
Pasaway.
Pasaway group. Salamat at kamusta kayo? Minsan magkikita-kita tayo dyan.
Alam mo, gusto ko rin pong isang pagbati, happy birthday kay Tiny Pau. Si Tiny ang isa kong kasama, isang co-parent ko yan. And nagsasapit siya ng kanyang birthday today. Happy birthday, Tiny! And of course, sa lahat po ng mga nagsasapit na kanilang birthday, kahapon si Architect Alan Cruz. Architect Alan, partner ko yan sa golf. Si Alan Cruz, happy birthday. At si Popoy Elvina, isa rin kasama natin yan na nagsapit na kanyang birthday. Happy birthday sa inyong lahat, mga kapatid.
Isa pa, buntik ko na nakalimutan. Bukas, I want to greet my daughter and my son-in-law. Happy first wedding anniversary nila.
Nakaisa na! Malayo ka pa sa daddy mo. Happy anniversary.
Kay Jade at saka kay Marion.
Happy anniversary. More years together. Jade and Marriott. Alright, bago po tayo magpatuloy, syempre, namimigay pa rin po tayo sa ating show ng mga katakot-takot na mga premyo, mga kapatid, especially mula sa Joyride Super App. Ang ating pong Joyride Top Up promo kung saan pwede kayo manalo ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay Wallet Credits mula sa Joyride Philippines. Napakadali lamang po para manalo. Download the latest version of the Joyride Super App. Kuha na ng screenshot ng app's home screen. Ipadala ang screenshot sa Power and Play FB page via private message at isama nyo po ang inyong buong pangalan at registered mobile number. At kayo po'y mananalo o may chance ang manalo ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay Wallet Credits na pwede nyo pong gamitin sa Joyride Delivery, Motorcycle Taxi, Joyride Taxi Cab, Joyride Car, at Joyride Super Taxi. Uy, malapit na rin nating i-launch yung Joyride partnership with Victory Liner. At saka sa Joyride to go. Yung ferry. Malapit na rin po yan, mga kapatid. Abangan nyo po yan mula sa Joyride. And of course, yung pong limited edition Aqua Flask ng mula sa Joyride, tayo po ay namimigay pa rin para sa mga lucky passenger and rider. Again, download the Joyride Super App. Mag-book po ng MC Taxi, Car, or Taxi Cab, or Super Taxi. At kumuha po ng creative picture with your driver partner. At ipadala po yung picture na yan sa Power and Play FB page via PM at isama nyo po yung hashtag of the week. At ito po yung hashtag of the week, mga kapatid. Hashtag travel with Joyride. Again, hashtag travel with Joyride para po manalo ng limited edition Joyride Aqua Flask. Mamaya i-announce natin yung nanalo last week ng Joyride Aqua Flask. Alright, we are ready to roll sa ating pong unang set ng mga bisita na ating pong makakasama sa ating pong paboritong Cash or Bash.
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
At ang Cash or Bash ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. There's more to our cars. At ngayong araw pong ito, ang ating pong mga kasama sila RJ Balyeser, isa pong sports writer ng The Game Magazine. Uy, nako, maganda diyang lagi kong pinupuntahan niyang The Game Magazine online. At si Simon Redoblado, contributing writer ng All-Star Game Magazine. Nako.
Good morning, RJ and Simon.
Magandang araw po.
Yun, alam mo, first-timers itong mga to sa atin. First-timers ba, RJ and Simon?
Yes po, first time po dito.
Ay, Simon, may ask, Redoblado, di mga taga-Bicol kayo.
Yes sir, Jera, binabati po kayo ng inyong former partner in crime, si Raul Redoblado. Magandang araw.
Okay, there you go.
Partner in crime, ha?
Dahil kaibigan ko matagal yan.
Simon, pakisabi mo nga sa amin, bakit ba in crime? Off-air na lang.
Off-air po.
Well, it's good to have the two of you on the show for the first time and salamat sa inyong oras. Well, again, before we begin sa ating mga items dito sa Cash or Bash, I wanna get your take muna. Ikaw muna siguro, RJ, no? The NBA is beginning in about a month. Sa tingin mo ba, alam mo, we've not seen a repeat champion ng NBA since 2017-2018, yung Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Matagal-tagal na rin.
Tagal na rin.
And they're saying na Boston Celtics daw has the best chance to repeat, but they have not repeated since 1968.
Wow.
Ganong katagal na hindi nagre-repeat ang Boston Celtics. Sa tingin mo ba, makakakita tayo ng repeat champion this year sa Boston Celtics, RJ?
Noli, I am a Lakers fan, pero I will...
So tapos na usapan.
I will be really honest with you. Actually, mula nung manalo sila, pinag-uusapan namin ito ng mga kaibigan ko. I feel like, yes, it's very realistic na makapag-repeat sila kasi andyan pa rin naman yung core. And of course, sila, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, only getting a year older. And ayun na, nandun pa rin na they're retaining the team. Although, of course, other teams have made off-season moves, pero iba pa rin kasi level sobrang walang tapon dun sa team na yun
Yeah.
Like bukod dun sila Jason Tatum, you have of course Drew Holiday, who's a dog on defense, one of my favorite players by the way. Of course si Porzingis, you have Derek White. So yeah, I feel like really, I think even I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm confident na pwede pa talaga mag-repeat itong Boston Celtics.
Alright. Well, alam mo, marami ring fans na Pilipino ang Lakers, siyempre. Kaya talagang yan ang rivalry na talagang matagal na. But again, I think they have a good chance. I think partner ng Boston has a really good chance. Solid ang kanilang team. Binalik nila lahat. Of course, Kristaps Porzingis is not going to be playing the first few weeks ng season. Pero, of course, it matters only at the end. Kaya ako...
Exactly. As you said, partner, it matters at the end of the game, of the tournament, no? Pero malaki ang chance dahil the way how they handled Mavericks, talagang alam mo kung sino na mananalo. So in other words, ganun silang ka-powerhouse.
Of course, dumikit na ng konti ang talent sa East. And of course, alam naman natin ang powerhouses of the West. So it'll be very interesting if there will be a repeat champion. But again, that is what you call parity. Yan diyan mo makikita na talagang iba-iba ang mga nagcha-champion sa NBA.
Ay, ikaw, Simon, anong tingin mo?
It's very possible po na mag-repeat po yung Boston Celtics, sorry Sir RJ. Pero sa tingin ko po may buwelta po itong West. I'm just looking at the latest acquisitions that they've had over the off-season at titignan po natin talaga na powerhouse po itong mga to. So the Dallas Mavericks got Klay Thompson to add to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Yeah. And personally po, I think that the Denver Nuggets have a settle to score because they won the NBA championship not so long ago, and with the addition of Russell Westbrook, they added some more athleticism and they added some more veteran experience to their core. So it's going to be a very interesting NBA season ahead of us.
Ganda.
Pwede.
Talagang pwede. Alam naman natin kung gaano kalakas ang West. But talking about pag-rest back, pagbalik, no? Yung bang Ateneo sa tingin nyo sa 0-3 makakabalik pa? Simon, ikaw muna.
Okay, shoutout po sa inyong alma mater, Noli. Pero napaka-crucial na labanan po yung mangyayari po mamaya, which is going to be Ateneo and FEU, a battle of winless teams. But of course, not for long. I personally have the Ateneo Blue Eagles picking up their first win of the season later because at the end of the day, Coach Tab Baldwin is still Coach Tab Baldwin. He will pull out tricks like a magician getting a rabbit from his hat. He gets the most out of players like Josh Lazaro, who had the first point and rebound double-double of the entire season. Isipin niyo po yun. And then Sean Tuano and of course Jared Bahay is going to adjust really quickly. I love Coach Sean Chambers just because I'm a long-time Alaska fan. But it does seem like the FEU Tamaras will take a little longer to cook. So the Blue Eagles are looking good po.
Ikaw naman, RJ, sa tingin mo ba, makakabalik pa itong Ateneo sa 0-3?
I feel like, at the very least, I would just look at the present. Ay, na-agree ako kay Simon na, I think, just to correct him, I think Adamson ang makakalaban nila this weekend. But yeah, definitely, I feel like they're gonna get their first dub. Kasi yun na, like what Simon said, Tab Baldwin is Tab Baldwin. You can never doubt him. At saka parang, kahit naman puro rookie sila, I mean, these guys will end up adjusting. Si Jared Bahay, nakausap namin siya. Sabi naman niya na parang same lang daw yung college yung high school basketball experience niya sa college game. Pero daw, mas matatalino lang yung players. I feel like that's a good sign. At least
Dahil
for
nag-college na sila High school dati. Mas matadali na. Kidding aside, yeah.
Pero yun na nga po. Ayun, and then, you have Silver Lining and Tuano, tapos si Josh Lazaro, grabe, I'm really monitoring yung ano niya. No? Kasi ngayon, nabigyan siya ng opportunity. Talagang he's making the most out of it. And of course, si Chris Porter. But yeah, as for the Final Four, I would like to say na I don't count out Ateneo, don't count out
Really?
Tab Baldwin.
Wow.
It's a young team, yeah.
Wow.
Don't count out Tab Baldwin. I'm not saying na it's a guaranteed shot, pero kumbaga I'm not saying na, hindi ko rin sinasabi na wala na sila. Pero definitely, I feel like at the end of this weekend, at the very least, 1-3 na ang record na Ateneo.
I like your optimism, being a Ateneo alumni, pero alam mo, I can see the talent. Of course, minalas ang NU dahil nawala sila ng kanilang foreign player. That's a big blow sa NU. Because I had already Lasal UP, NU at saka UST in my top 4 eh. So, pero ngayong nalaglag yung nawala ng import yung NU, medyo nagkaroon ng chance lahat, no? But again, Ateneo, when you talk about Ateneo, partner, ako as much as I love Ateneo in the way, you know, in the past few years, the glory years, I think talagang very challenged lang Ateneo this year. Medyo mabigat ang laban na to. Dahil ibang-iba ang lineup nila, and I think Tab knows what he is up against this year. Anyway, so let's go to our Cash and Bash materials now, gentlemen. Dito sa Cash or Bash, simple lamang magpapakita kami ng mga memes or mga video soundbites at inyong huhusgahan kung cash kayo, kung sang-ayon kayo doon, or bash kung walang seal of approval mula sa inyo. Simple lamang ang drill, walang tama, walang mali, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit, and of course, ang opinion nyo lamang ang mahalaga. So let's begin with our first COB item of the day. Nalagpasan na ni Marshall Lassiter si Jimmy Alapag bilang king ng 3-pointers sa PBA. So, cash or bash, si Marshall Lassiter ang greatest PBA shooter of all time. I'll begin with you, Simon. Go!
Noli, you can take that straight to the bank because that is cash. Okay, but first let's give some flowers, okay, to a couple of other shooters that Lassiter passed along the way. So when you talk about the Mighty Mouse, Jimmy Alapag, there's an argument to be made that Coach Jimmy is the most clutch shooter in the history of the PBA. So alam po natin na kapag tumawid ng half-court line yan, talagang yung puso mo ay baka tumigil na because this guy has unlimited range, and the way that he carried the Talk and Text team to multiple championships before the emergence of Jason Castro as the main man. Talaga namang pag sinabing Mighty Mouse, he has the rock in his hands, in clutch, it's cash money. Ngayon, pagdating naman po kay the venerable Alan Kaidik, he's widely considered the triggered man. Okay, that's his nickname. I call him the template because if you look up jump shot in any basketball textbook, and if you look for an illustration, nandun po ang picture ni Alan Kaidik. It's such a beauty to watch, but it wasn't such a beauty for his international opponents back in the day na pinipick up po siya at half court kasi ganun po ang respeto nila kay Coach Alan. But having said all of that, numbers don't lie, unless of course your numbers are being generated by some automated machines, but I digress. When you talk about 1,255 outside shots made in his PBA career, which also, by the way, is on close to a 40% shooting clip. Aba, so efficient na nga siyang tumira at mas marami siyang naipasok na 3-point shots than any other PBA player in history. Matik na yan. Marshall Lassiter, greatest 3-point shooter in PBA history.
Absolutely great. Ang ganda ng paghimay.
Paghimay,
Alright.
Laging boneless bangus nga eh.
Meron pang Picos machine. RJ, Marshall Lassiter, the greatest PBA shooter of all time. Cash or bash, go!
Actually, same lang kay Simon, Sir Noli, Sir Jera. Cash, kasi nga, more than breaking the numbers, the 1,254 is such a huge feat already. Pero kumbaga, yun na nabanggit nga ni Simon, grab rin yung efficiency ni Marshall when doing so. Less games and less attempts needed. I think it's siguro like close to ang laki, parang mga 400, 500 less games. Is parang 100 more or less. Parang baga less than 3,000 triples needed to ano. So kumbaga I think it's really just a testament to him mastering his niche as a 3-point specialist. And sure sabihin ng mga tao, sige may gravity kasi yung sila June Morgan, may gravity teammates nila. But I think kasi ako, hindi ako magaling na basketball player, but I think getting open looks is one thing, but converting all of those is another. And Marshall's really shown off, with the numbers and throughout his career na talagang sobrang dead-eye shooter niya. So although at the same time, I know na greatness is subjective, may iba-iba tayong criteria. Yun na nga, si Jimmy Alapag, others may say na mas magaling shot creator, mas clutch siya and everything. Si Alan Kaidik, others may bring up the records, yung mga records hindi pa rin nabibeat. But I think, alam mo yun, Marshall has really shown us na talagang ibang level yung pagka reliable nung shooting niya. So, ayun, really just cash for me.
All right, partner.
Well, I agree with the both of them. However, yung ang tanong greatest PBA shooter of all time. So, if you will look at the numbers, talagang siya. But the question, when you talk about greatest, di ba, the impact that na iniwan niya sa PBA, sa mga games, mas impactful yung mga clutch shooting ni Alan Kaidik at saka ni Jimmy Alapag na talagang pwedeng pang highlight reel. I don't know if you get me. Para bang sinabi mo, si Marcio, shoot, pasok. Pero si Jimmy Alapag at saka si Alan Kaidik, alam mo, may play na talagang spectacular finish, hirap, pumasok. And there was an impact, highlight reel, that you can say na it's one of the greatest plays ever in the PBA. Kaya,
so in other words, yung greatest is the qualifier.
Yeah, greatest is the qualifier. But when you talk about numbers, definitely it's Marcio Lassiter.
I love Marcio. I saw Marcio begin in 2009 nung kasama po namin si Marcio Lassiter sa Las Vegas. It was the first time he tried out for Gilas, Pilipinas. Ang natatandaan ko kay Marcio, alam niyo na po yung panahon na yon, nasa hotel kami sa Las Vegas. It was the first day of practices. Hindi bumangon. Ayaw bumangon sa kama at antok na antok yung mama. Totoo po. At iniwan namin sa hotel dahil nagkublo, talaga nagtago sa kumot. Ayaw
Tinatamad!
At talagang at that time, I never thought that he would be this kind of player. I'm just very happy for Marcio up to now. I'm still in touch with him. I'm so happy for him that he is now the player with the most number of 3-pointers. But I love him, but I don't think that if you talk about just numbers, it will mean you are the greatest shooter of all time.
Yes.
Ako, ang thinking ko is that I still think that there are players who got that shot. Alam mo, ibang-iba yung panahon nila Alan Kaidik at saka ni Marcio. At that time, nung 80s, maybe even up to the 90s, ang 3-point shooting attempts ay napakakonti. It was not yet a principal weapon of teams. Ngayon, anybody can shoot the 3-point shot and Marcio has the license to take that. I think that if maybe Alan Kaidik would play in this era, that guy would probably break all of the records. And so again, it's a qualifier. I'm not saying that Marcio is not the greatest. I think but the numbers don't lie. But mahirap tanggihan na si Alan Kaidik is probably one of the most spectacular and maybe the most impactful 3-point shooter of all time. All right, let's go to our second item of the morning. Nako, parang finals preview na ang nakaraang laban ng Rain or Shine Elasto Painters at San Miguel Beermen. So, cash or bash, Rain or Shine at San Miguel ang malinaw na finals front runner sa PBA Commissioner's Cup. Naku, maraming magagalit dito. Alright, RJ, go!
Alright, so I guess malinaw. I guess probably ngayon, given the situation, medyo malabo. Medyo naging malabo siya kasi nga, I think for San Miguel's case na ayun na, although nandun pa rin naman yung core nila, yung Filipino core nila, pero I think malaking bagay yung injury ni Jordan Adams na hamstring. Although sabihin natin makabalik siya, pero mahirap pa rin, diba? There's like a cloud of uncertainty kasi hindi naman natin alam yung gravity. And of course, Rain or Shine naman, it's a very young and scrappy team. You know, you have a steal of the draft in Felix Lameti. Of course, yung mga holdovers like sila Gian Mamuyak, ganun. And of course, yeah, yung import nila si Aaron Fuller, he's more of a workhorse na talagang fits sa system ni Coach Yeng. I guess medyo malabo na. I don't wanna say na malino na finals runner. I don't wanna say it's a guarantee, lalo na rain or shine probably right now. Kumbaga, sticking to the present, medyo mas maganda yung chances nila. Pero at the same time, medyo tinitignan ko yung bracket, pwede nila makaharap pa yung Meralco and Ginebra sa semis. Although just probably if the playoffs started now, or even San Miguel, I think pwede lang makaharap yun in the semis. And I think, sabihin natin San Miguel, they're gonna be medyo mas makabalik si Jordan Adams, or yung replacement import nila for some reason turns things around, si Sheldon Mack. Pero yeah, I feel like rain or shine, I would say na they have better chances right now, sticking to the present. Pero I feel like pagdating ng semis, pwede pa rin sila mahirapan kasi nga, syempre, you said kanina earlier, Ginebra starting to pick up the pace na. Ginebra, of course. Meralco rin naman, defending champions and all that. So,
interesting.
Ayun.
So, hindi malinaw. So,
malabo.
Hindi malinaw, pero it's a possibility.
All right. Same item, Simon. Rain or shine at San Miguel. Malinaw na finals front-runner sa PBA Commissioner's Cup. Go!
Pwede po bang half cash? Kung 50 cents instead
Parang
of
half price. Half price
okay.
lang.
Because San Miguel, I believe, is a title contender by default. That's how stacked they are. That's how much championship experience they've accumulated over the past season. So, with or without an import, I feel like they know how to win. They're incredibly talented across all 5 positions. So San Miguel will always be there at the hovering at the summit of the mountaintop. Ito naman pong rain or shine. I'm trying to catch myself here because I might be a victim of recency bias. They did solve the San Miguel problem. They did figure out ways to body up Junmar. So yung mga sila, Aaron Fuller, Bo Belga, trying to deny him of touches deep in the post. Pero at the same time, sabi nga po ni Sir RJ, pagdating po ng playoffs, we do need to see what this young rain or shine team is made of, because kung championship and playoff experience po ang pag-uusapan, napakalayo po ng kanilang distance. That being said, when I look at other quote-unquote title contenders, TNT has just been hit by the injury bug. Ginebra, sabi niyo nga po kanina, Coach Tim Cone teams, and Paulo Del Rosario said this also some days ago, Coach Tim Cone teams tend to take a season or two to cook. So hindi rin po natin alam, question mark din po yung Ginebra when it comes to the playoffs. Meralco has Durham back, pero they've lost quite a bit already. So yeah, rain or shine, very interesting. I'm not sure how they'll do in the playoffs. That will be something to watch. But San Miguel, yes, by default, the championship goes through them.
So half cash, half bash. Parang half price lang to, half price. So, partner.
Ako?
Oo. Ano sa'yo?
Direct
Anli.
Direct pakisuming tong cup ko.
Baba, may Meralco pa. Yun, no? Ayan, no?
Meralco pa rin yan. Kaya...
Riyan ang bias.
No. I guess, just what RJ said. Medyo malabo ang San Miguel.
Hindi malinaw.
Hindi malinaw.
Hindi pa malinaw.
Hindi pa
Okay,
malinaw.
okay.
Hindi pa malinaw.
Okay.
Let's not count out TNT, Meralco, and even Ginebra.
Of course.
Kaya hindi malinaw na rain or shine at San Miguel ang darating sa finals.
Okay.
Ang lalaban sa finals.
So at least ano pa doon, bash pa doon.
Bash.
I agree with both. I mean, to me, Brownlee is still the benchmark, and Meralco is still coming off a championship.
Yeah.
And TNT is the number one team so far, and with Ronde Hollis Jefferson, talagang hindi malinaw. But San Miguel is San Miguel. It is a championship team all the way. Yeah. And of course, the surprise of them all, rain or shine. Ako, I'm hoping na magtuloy-tuloy ang rain or shine.
Ako rin. I want them to be in the finals.
At least in the finals. Pero yung malinaw, tama, I agree with all of you. Hindi pa malinaw ang finals picture. Alright, let's go to our third matter or third item of the day. Unbeaten pa rin ang UP Fighting Maroons sa UAAP Men's Basketball Tournament as isa sa mga malinaw na teams to beat ngayong taon. So, cash or bash, UP ang may best collegiate basketball program sa nakaraang 5 taon. 5 years, best collegiate basketball program. Cash or bash? I'll begin with you, RJ. Go.
No disrespect to UP, I love UP, but I would have to say Bash. Kasi I think for me, just for me, when you say best, I think kasama dun yung success eh. And the thing is, I feel like naka-factor in yung fact na, yeah, they won in season 84, pero yun na nga, they've been unable to get over the hump since then. Laging may kapos pa for the past 2 seasons siya. Kasi nga due to luck or breaks of the game. Kasi nga, at saka parang, like I said, ang lalim ng UP, sobrang lalim nila. Since 84, mas lumalim lang sila because of the recruitment and everything. Pero yun na nga, medyo it hasn't translated yet to championships. Okay, emphasis on yet. Kasi hindi ko naman, I'm not saying na I'm counting them out. They're finals contenders. That's a fact. Pero yun na, medyo kinukulang pa sila the past 2 years. Past 2 seasons since winning the championship. But, ayun. So, I guess I would have to bash. Pero yun na, no doubt na grabe yung turnaround nila since pre-COVID, since kay Coach Bo, since ngayon program director Bo, tapos ngayon kay Coach Gold na nga, and ay na sobrang lalim ng mga teams nila, lalo na this season 87 na lahat yan ilagay mo sa ibang teams, magiging major contributor yan for me. But ayun na nga, I think if nanalo sila either nung 85 or 86, I think I would have said cash. Pero yun na, malaking bagay in forming my thought process here, yung lack of sustained na championship nila. Given na lalo ng alalalim ng teams nila. Pero no doubt, they're finals contenders. I will say this on record ngayon, season 87. Sila pa rin na isa akong pinapeg na magpa-finals. But to say that they're the best for the past 5 years, I would have to say bash for now.
Alright. Simon, your take.
Noli, from 2007 to 2012, the University of the Philippines was my stomping grounds. Mula sa UP Baguio hanggang sa UP Diliman kung saan ko po na-attain ang aking bachelor's degree. It has been my pride to write for All-Star Magazine and sing the praises of the UP Fighting Maroons.
Bias to?
Over the past decade, okay? Kasi decades long na po talaga ang aming story of rising from the ashes. With that being said, Noli, my answer to your question is bash.
Oh,
and now I will have to go to the back, sing yung pinaming mahal, eat mang laris, and open a blue box. So baka bawiin po yung aking alumni card sa UP. But I completely agree with Sir RJ. Maraming salamat at kayo po ang naunang magsabi at hindi po ako. So baka mamaya ako naman yung mabash later. But I totally agree. Championships matter, winning matters. In the past 5 years, Ateneo has won 2 championships, UP has won 1 title, De La Salle University has won 1 title. Kung i-combine po natin, Noli at Sir Jera, ito pong championship seasons ng Ateneo, if we count the number of wins that they've had in season 82 and season 85, they played 34 games and won 30. Kung i-count po natin yung season 84, when they came 1 JD Kagulangan 3-point shot away from possibly having a chance to win another championship, ang record po nila ay 45 wins out of 52 games. Saan po tayo nakakita ng ganong machine, ng ganong juggernaut na na-assemble over the past decades? Seriously. Okay, so, but let's put everything into context, okay? Once upon a time, Ateneo had the best recruitment and they had the best player in Ange Kwame. Ngayon po, sa panahong nakikita natin, I agree with Sir RJ, UP has the best recruitment. Stacked from positions 1 through 5, talagang napakahusay po ni Coach Bo Perasol sa ganyan. And of course, Coach Goldwyn Monteverde cooking everything and coming up with the winning formula consistently. Samantala naman po ang De La Salle University, since Ange Kwame, we cannot deny that the best player in the UAAP has been Kevin Kiambao. So, sino po ang mananaig dyan? Well, tutukan po natin ang coverage ng Signal, ng 1PH at ng All-Star Magazine na rin. Okay? So, tutukan nyo po ang coverage namin sa lahat ng UAAP.
Huwag ka mag-alala, nakikinig sa atin si Ma'am Sienna Olaso. I'm sure, ano yan. Nakikita na yung mga... Magaling ito si Simon. Alright, so bash, Simon, partner. Ikaw, quickly.
I totally agree. Bash yan.
Bash, ha?
Oo, dahil hindi pa talaga proven eh. Within the 5-year program ng UP talagang masasabi mo silang may the best basketball program. It will still be Ateneo for me.
Best collegiate basketball program.
Best collegiate program.
Well, I admire Simon for his candor and of course still his profound love for UP and of course si RJ sa kanyang napakagandang analysis. I agree. I think when you talk about best team today, ako is La Salle. I think it's DLSU. I think the best recruitment in the last few years, UP. But the best collegiate program, I think, is still Ateneo. At least for the summation of 5 years.
Summation of 5 years.
Alright, gentlemen, maraming salamat sa binigay niyo sa aming oras ngayong Sabado. Sana huwag kayong magsawa and maimbita uli namin kayo dito sa Cash or Bash. I hope you enjoyed and have a good one. We will continue to follow you sa Game Magazine at sa All-Star Magazine. Maraming salamat, RJ and Simon.
Salamat, RJ. Salamat, Simon.
Salamat for the
my regards to Raul. Simon.
Yes, sir.
Mga kaibigan, yan po ang ating mga nakasama ngayong araw po itong RJ Balicer ng Game Magazine at si Simon Redoblado ng All-Star Magazine. Young writers na kita mo naman alam na alam nila ang kanilang stuff and their work. And again, follow them po sa kanilang mga platforms.
Pare, himay na himay nila eh.
Himay na himay.
Kumbaga sa isda pwede mo nang gawing fish cake eh. Walang tinik.
Ang gagaling. Even yung history ng wins and losses, beautiful analysis.
Yeah.
Alright, at this point, mga kapatid, silipin muna natin ang ating mga trending topics at pop culture sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop.
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Ang title po ng video natin ngayong araw na ito ay Shader Kick. Shader ba yun o Shider? Shider Kick. Shider Kick. Naku, ano bang
kapanahonan ko yan, pare, Shider.
Shider yung ano daw. Kung may, panoorin po natin itong video na to ha. Kung may Shaolin Soccer, ayan naman. Ito meron naman Kung Fu Volleyball. Di nagtugma yung set sa timing ng talon ni Kuya, pero kita nyo naman ang solusyon. Sipain na lang yan sa ere at kita nyo naman yung bintet ng paa halos tumama na sa ibabaw ng net. Minsan nakakagulat at nakakamangha talaga ang matinding athleticism at body control ng mga atleta natin, ang Shider Kick sa Stop and Pop.
Actually, partner, napag-usapan natin kanina eh. Sabi nga, tinanong ko nga kay Santi kung anong nationality niyan eh. Thai pala. Baka malamang yan, sepak takraw. Sana yung rin maglaro ng sepak takraw yan.
Thai kick.
Thai kick.
Boxing. Alright, when we come back mga kapatid, ang ating pong makakasama, Coach Tim Cone at ang ating pong pinagmamalaking tennis pride, Alex Eala, sa Power and Play. Hatid po sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, at ng Joyride. Ang oras po natin, 9:07 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Shakey's Pizza. There's nothing like Shakey's.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Nangunguna bilang news, public service at entertainment radio station sa Mega Manila. Radyo 5, True FM.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Hi, Bel Mariano here. May dream career ka ba? Kahit ano pa yan, push mo lang. Kung sa kusinang passion mo, let the world taste how sweet life can be.
Ang oras, 9:10.
Ang oras sa Radyo 5 True FM ay hatid sa inyo ng Surf. Try the new Surf Active Clean. Instant galing na di mamahalin. For instant white and instant bango. Based on technical test on polyester.
Power and Play with Noli, Eala.
Well, welcome back sa ating second hour ng Power and Play, mga kaibigan. And right now, we're very, very honored to have with us on the show, joining us today, this morning, is no other than the head coach of Barangay Ginebra, Gin Kings, and of course, the head coach of the Gilas national team, our good friend, Coach Tim Cone. Tim, good morning.
Good morning. Good to be on the show. I haven't been on for a while. So
I know. You've been busy. I'm with Jera Season, my partner, Tim.
Good morning, Coach.
Hi.
Well, it's been an interesting... let me begin first. Of course, a lot of things we can talk about, but I want to focus on Ginebra and, of course, later on Gilas. So let me begin first with Ginebra, Tim. It's been a very interesting elimination round for you. Again, the traditional or the familiar refrain of a slow start for Ginebra. You lost your first game. It was like a roller coaster, loss, win, before you really put up a streak. What is it? A lot of people are always asking, what is this? Is this really an issue about learning your system? Or is this about being overconfident among your players, Tim?
No, I think it's really an issue about, first of all, for this particular conference, we made some dramatic changes. Using Christian Stan Hardinger and Stanley Pringle, two really, we built everything around Christian when he was with us, and he carried us for much of the last 2 or 3 conferences. So when we moved him on and picked up some new core players, there was a struggle in the beginning trying to get everybody on the same page. I think that's really, there is an always kind of a slow start for us, and then we start to find our rhythm as we start to learn the system a little bit more. And it's not just the offensive side, not just a triangle, but the defensive side as well. Trying to figure out where all the roles everybody's going to play. In the beginning, we couldn't get Stephen Holt to shoot the ball. He was so locked into his defense. He wanted to defend, which I loved. But we tried to remind him that, hey, we got you here as a scorer as well. And so he started to really contribute. And I think Justin, coming from a championship in Indonesia, a few days before we started our conference, it was an adjustment for him to come in and play his normal 40 minutes and get back into his rhythm as well. So there was some contributing factors, but bottom line, he had it going for a while and then got stuck, knocked backwards with San Miguel, but then did a nice recovery game afterwards.
Yeah, Coach, speaking of your loss to San Miguel, can you give us just a little inside story? What happened in the dugout after that game?
Well, I think after you get a shellacking like that, there's not much to say after a game. Particularly, I mean, we're all feeling bad as it is. So I think we gave ourselves a day to think about it, and then we came back to practice the next day, and then we talked about it, and that's when we really talked about that game. It was a game that was kind of like a perfect storm for us. We were coming off a 4-game winning streak. We had just played a really tough game against Rain or Shine, and Rain or Shine really, they exhaust you when you play them, and the recovery times and the way the games are so quick these days, it's hard to get that everybody back and focused. And so it was kind of a perfect storm for us to come in there. We had just beaten San Miguel the week before, so they were out for revenge, and they just jumped on us from the very beginning, and we just never recovered. We just never got back into the game. We were playing uphill the whole time.
Right.
And so we just talked about it, said, don't let this game define us. This is not who we really are. And it's not really what happens to you, that's important. It's really how you respond and what happens in you.
Yeah.
So it was more about, what's going to happen in our next game? How are we going to react? How are we going to come back? Is this going to knock us for a loop in terms of confidence, in terms of doubting what we do? And we wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So we came back out and played a good game against Phoenix, and hopefully we're getting back into a better rhythm again.
It's interesting. You talk about that, Tim, and you talked about the games being so quick in terms of turnaround. The format has changed, obviously, including the quarterfinals that is about to begin. Do you like the changes, Tim? This almost daily games, as well as, of course, the format change now that you'll be crossover with the other group. What's your assessment so far?
Well, there's two parts to that. Number one, I'm not, I from a coaching standpoint and a player standpoint, it's difficult to have these quick turnarounds. It's like we're playing playoffs for 3-4 months, and it's wearing. It's wearing on the players. It's harder on the coaches. It's a real challenge because it just seems like we're in playoffs the whole time.
Right.
Because that's basically what the playoffs are. A series is that you're playing every other day or every 2 days, and that's the challenge of getting yourself ready to respond to that, to what happened to the last game. It's even harder in this period because you having to prepare for a whole different team.
Yeah.
So the preparation's a little bit longer even. So it's very difficult, and it was, we've never really done it like this before.
Yep.
So it was a huge adjustment for everybody, I think, not just us, but for everybody.
Yeah.
However, I do like the crossover. I like the crossover idea. I like playing the best of 5. I'm never been a fan of twice to beat and short series because I don't think the best team always wins in short series.
Right,
so
right.
I think that you're going to come out. It looks like we're going to play Morocco in a best of 5 series, which should be a really interesting and tough series and entertaining for the fans.
Right.
And rather than just go out and play them in a best of 3 or twice to beat or something like that, it'll have a truer outcome.
Yeah.
I think with a longer series.
That's going to be interesting. Your upcoming series with Meralco, of course, potentially against Meralco. And when you talk about that, again, it's a Brownlee-Durham thing. But what do you think has been the constant? If you ever meet with Meralco again, what will be the constant, and what will be the difference in this particular series?
Well, it's a completely different staff, and it's headed by Nenad and Luigi. So they have a different defensive philosophy that we have to be able to handle. They have a more of a European offensive style, which is a little bit unique in our league. So it's getting less unique because other teams are starting to catch up to it a little bit, but he's kind of changed the way Morocco has played. So and the last time we played them, the last 2 times we played them, obviously Judson wasn't there. The last one was all Filipino, where they beat us in 7 games.
Right.
And then the one before that, Justin wasn't here as well when we played them, and they knocked us out. So they've beaten us the last 2 times we played them. So we really got to figure out a way to overcome them this time around.
Coach, I just want to ask with regards to the playing time and the performance of Justin Brownlee, because for the past several games, he's not really scoring high. It's more on passing and rotation. Is that really intentional in order for to reserve him for the quarter for the playoffs?
No, it's not. I think it's just something that evolves in our offense. And our offense is really equal opportunity, and Justin is a master of picking his spots. And his intention really every game is to involve his teammates, and the more his teammates are involved, the harder it is to defend him. And that's the philosophy that we have. So, when there are nights when the teammates are playing well and shooting well and the ball is moving really well, Justin's not going to look for a shot as much. There are times when they also, a lot of it is decided by the way the way the other team decides to defend Justin. Are they going to put a lot of emphasis on him? Are they going to put an import on him? Are they going to put their best defender and then give him help? These are all the things that Justin reads throughout the game. And it's not as simple as, oh, tonight I'm not going to play and I'm not going to shoot the ball, or I am going to shoot the ball. There is a lot more involved in terms of how they're defending him, how the teammates are playing. And we always feel our best games are when he's scoring in the 20s, but he has, 8 or 9, 10 assists and, 10 or 12 rebounds. When he's doing that, that's when we're at our best.
Right.
We're not at our best when he's scoring 50 points or 45 points or whatever. We're leaning on him too much for that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
actually, when he's scoring less, that's usually when we're playing at our best.
Tim, of course, you mentioned this, and when you look back at the start of the season, the biggest and perhaps most discussed trade was your trade with Terra Firma, where you picked up, as you said, you gave away Stan Hardinger and Stanley, the biggest two pieces there, and picked up guys like Holt, a first-round pick that turned out to be RJ, and of course Isaac Go. Assess that trade now. Do you think that this was a trade that benefited both? Who won that trade, in other words, Tim?
I'm not a big believer in trying to win a trade. I just don't think it, throughout my whole career in Alaska, we never had the intention of trying to win a trade. We don't want to win over another team, because if you do that, you have a tendency to the trades aren't going to come that easy or that often if you're constantly winning trades. You want to have trades that benefit both teams, obviously, in my mind. And they had the misfortune of having Christian get injured. We've had the misfortune of having Isaac get injured, and it's been a big hole for us to lose Isaac, because now we've got 12, 18 minutes in our lineup that's voided when Japa sits down. We're trying to limit Japa's minutes, trying to keep him fresh and efficient, playing around 30 minutes. And Isaac was supposed to be the one that fills the void while he's sitting down. And also having that time when we needed to play two bigs at a time, he and Isaac Japa could have played together. So losing Isaac was huge for us. And we, in all honesty, we're looking around trying to find another big to help fill the void while he's out. We don't have a timeline on him yet, but it does look like it's going to be an extended injury.
Wow.
So when I say extended, I mean months, not just weeks. So, we've got Jamie still a long ways away from joining, and Maya as well. So we're missing three really key guys in our team at this point. So, but we like the way Steven has come in and really taking that defensive stopper role very, very seriously, and that's something we felt we lacked over these last couple of conferences, especially at his size. We had it with Christian when he was here. He was that defensive stopper for the bigger imports, but for the smaller imports and for the really great local players, Steven has been phenomenal in terms of bringing that kind of attitude and desire to that role. And then RJ is we had very little doubt about how RJ was going to affect us. He just needed to learn, where his shots are going to come from in the triangle to be aggressive and then understand our defensive system and how important defense is to the way we play. Those are the things that he's still adjusting to as well. But losing Isaac has been a really tough thing for us. and we need some help going into the playoffs.
Okay, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but before the start of the conference, you were not so much,
In favor.
agreeing with the 4-point shot. Now that it has been played for several weeks or probably a month, have you changed your mind with regards to the 4-point shot?
No, not at all. I'm still not a fan of the 4-point shot. Not at all. I mean, it can be fun for the players, and it can be fun for the fans, and I see that reasoning. But to me, there was an article that what's his name, the former Lakers Spur. He's here in the country.
Robert Horry.
Robert Horry.
Robert Horry.
Bob, yeah. Robert Horry. And I thought he had a really good response to that. They asked him about the 4-point line. And I maybe he's old school and I'm old school, but I just think guys are coming down and firing too many perimeter shots. It's more, as he said, and I really agree with it. I think there's more to the game than just coming down and firing up shots. There's less of an emphasis on defense. There's less of an emphasis on ball movement and cutting, and it's just more of coming down and firing up early shots that you're open on the 3, you shoot it, and now you've given more reason to do it because it's the 4, and it's basically a ×2 shot. It also, I feel, dramatically changes the game too radically. 4-point shot that is really, it can dramatically change a game. There was a game against Blackwater where we were down by a point and we were playing defense and it was like 30 seconds to go or something. He hits a 4-point shot. I think Balefield hits a 4-point shot and we're down 5, game's over. And I think it was just too dramatic of a changeover. So, there's positives and negatives. I have a tendency to focus more on the negatives, but there are positives to it as well. But I just think it changes the game, number one, too much. And number two, I think that there's more to the game than just shooting the ball.
Well, don't worry, Tim. I share your sentiment. I'm not a big fan. To me, it's an innocuous rule change. And, I think, somehow, there has to be a balance. That's what I've always said. There has to be a balance between the 4-point line and another rule. And that's something that I guess has to be studied. And that's for another discussion. But let me go to the Gilas now, Tim. Gilas is about to play in November. And we want to get a little bit of an update about your plans for the national team. When do you begin your practices for Gilas Pilipinas? And are you beginning to plan at least for the team?
Well, we're playing the number 21 ranked team in the world in New Zealand, and that's going to be a huge challenge for us. We haven't beaten New Zealand in quite a while, and they've handled us pretty easily whenever we played them. So we're going to be motivated to play them, and we're playing them at home. So that's really important that we defend our home court and play well in front of our own fans, and that's just going to be something we talk a lot about when we get together. And then we'll play Hong Kong, who last time came in, we played them without a naturalized player. We understand they have their naturalized player, and they've gotten a couple other players, so we expect a stiffer challenge from them. But we're also playing them at home, so we expect to play well and go after them in front of our fans. We're only going to have 5 days of preparation.
Wow.
We start November 16. We play on the 21st. And that's the agreement we have with all the stakeholders that was from the beginning last year.
So you're not having any Monday practices, Tim?
No, there's useless to have Monday practices. Our Japan guys can't join us.
Okay.
So, no, there's no Monday practices. I'm a big believer in doing whole team practices. I don't like doing, 6, 7, 8 guys. I don't think that does anything for anybody. So if we can't get the whole team together, And again, you got to remember our preparation is cumulative. And I think that's really important that people don't understand this. And I'd like to make it clear is that this is a cumulative preparation.
Yeah.
We're using the same group that we used from the OQT.
There you go.
We're using the same group that we used from the previous windows in back in February. So, that it's not like we're teaching them all over again.
Right.
It's not like we have to get them in total shape because they're coming from their mother teams directly to us. So they'll be in shape, and they know the system. So it's really about just getting back into a rhythm, and getting the same guys back. We're hoping that expecting AJ Edu to join us this time.
Okay.
We're expecting Scotty Thompson to join us also this time, and we're still. Jamie Malonzo is still questionable, but we're hoping to have a healthy Kai, which was the big thing in the OQT was losing Kai Soto was devastating to us, but there was nothing we could do at that time. We couldn't protect his rib at that time because we didn't have the proper equipment around us. That's something we hopefully learned from, and we're going to have better medical equipment around us that we travel with, so we can take care of something like that. But and that was on us, not on Kai. So we're hoping Kai is coming in healthy. And we're not even hoping, we're expecting Kai to come in healthy.
Okay.
And AJ and Scotty, and because I put it this way, we played against Brazil without Kai, without AJ, without Scotty, without Jamie, who would have been our number one wing stopper. And so one of the things I say is that Europe hasn't seen our best team yet.
All right.
We haven't. Best team out there.
That's good to know.
Okay,
Yeah,
Coach.
so we feel we still have a team that's
can
stronger
improve. Yeah,
than the OPG that
Right.
can come out. Hopefully, everybody is available and ready to go against New Zealand on the 21st.
Okay, Coach, since you mentioned all those 4 players who's now more or less nursing some injuries, what are the chances, except for JV Malonzo, because you already said it's impossible for him to come back, but what are the chances of EJ Edu going back and play for the team?
And the other, I want to add to that, Tim. Are you also considering RJ Abarrientos now that you've seen him play actually?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that have been, is this something that you're also thinking about, adding a few players that were not part of the original team?
Not at this point. No, we're not looking to add or at this point. Again, we're trying to use the cumulative
system.
The cumulative preparation.
Right.
And remember, I think this is what I always respond with people asking me if you're going to add this guy or add this guy. Every time we add somebody, we have to remove somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to understand. Okay, if you want to add RJ, who are you going to take off? You tell me.
Right.
Which player you take out?
Yeah.
Think of a player you want to take out from the 12, the original 12 that we have.
Yeah.
To replace with RJ.
I'll take out Justin Brownlee. Maybe Justin Brownlee.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough decision, right?
Right.
And these guys already know each other. They already know the system, and that was the whole point of keeping the same 12 all the way through.
Good.
We still have Mason Amos, and hopefully, Japeth is still willing to be that alternates, those 2 alternates on the team.
Yeah.
But the original 12 are all there.
Yeah.
And Jamie, I may have misspoke. Jamie is not out definitely. He's questionable. He could be available by November.
All right.
And if not, then it would be either Mason or Japeth joining the team to replace them again, because
how about EJ?
All right. Well, we're running a little bit out of time here, Tim, but I want to ask this as a final question. I know that you're not a big, just a win game guy. You've always been the big picture guy that I've known you to be. Always about winning championships. Always about getting to the ultimate goal. So now that you've handled this team for over a year now, maybe, what will be your barometer in determining whether your program and this team has actually made strides?
Well, I think the obvious one is, are we rising up in the rankings? Are we moving up in the rankings? And, we did through the OQT, we rose up, 3 or 4 spots. And, it just goes to show how hard it is to go up in the rankings. We want to get to where New Zealand is. We want to get to where Japan is. I think Japan is like 20th now in ranks, and we're still in the 30s. So we're trying to move up into the 20s. That's our first goal, to get to the 20s and continue to move up as far as we can. And the only way we can do that is continuing to beat teams that are above us or ahead of us in the rankings. So that's one of the barometers. Can we beat I think
teams.
going into the OQT, our big question was, can we compete with European teams? Can we beat 1 or 2? And we were able to do that. So we had that barometer. Now it's coming into New Zealand. Can we beat? Can we play a really good game and find a way to beat New Zealand, and which is almost a top 20 team in the world. So these are the things that we're looking for. But ultimately, it's going to be what we do through FIBA Asia. Can we finish in the top 2 or 3 in FIBA Asia? Maybe even win it. That's going to be in August, and then from there, qualifying for the World Cup. So there's steps along the ways, and we'll know as we go if we're getting better or if we're stuck in mud or if we're getting worse.
Yeah, and that's the time when all the adjustments can be made and will be made. Well, Coach Tim, I know it's a lot of work for you with Ginebra as well as for the national team, but as you know, we're always behind you, and I know the entire Filipino nation is behind you, cheering on the team. Good luck on your game, on the playoffs as well, and we hope to see you again in Power and Play.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Coach Tim.
Thank you, Noli.
Maraming salamat. Thank you. Tim Cone, mga kaibigan, ang ating pong paboritong coach, and of course, one of our really good friends and terrific mind. And again, maganda yung mga sinasabi niya, all the preparations, partner. And of course, yung Ginebra. He's looking forward to a Meralco matchup, partner. Mukhang ikaw na naman.
Kaya nga ngising aso ko kanina eh. Ganun
Alright mga kapatid, before we give you our final guest of the day, syempre gusto po natin magpasalamat muna sa lahat ng mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Gusto po natin magpasalamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong pabago-bagong panahon mga kapatid. Sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin na matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang alam kong kalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum.
Thank you!
Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro. Rev up your driving experience with the Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro. A 1.5 turbocharged engine powers the Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro to give you a faster and smoother drive wherever you go. Stay connected and on the go with its cutting-edge 12.3-inch infotainment system compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Savor the joy of the open road with a full digital instrument panel and a panoramic sunroof, perfect for your scenic family road trips and weekend getaways. The Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro is definitely the ride for you and your family. So what are you waiting for? Experience it for yourself. Test drive a Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro at your nearest Cherry dealership now. For more information, you may also visit Cherry Auto Philippines website at www.cherryauto.ph.
Thank you!
Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. No more waiting na sa Joyride QR Code Instant Booking. Parahin lang ang Joyride MC Taxi Driver at i-generate ang QR code sa Joyride Super App. Ipascan ito sa driver para match agad. Download or update the latest version of the Joyride Super App sa Google Play Store at App Store. And of course, ang Joyride Super Taxi Hatid Airport Service. Wala nang hassle sa pagpunta sa airport para sa inyong flight. Pre-book a ride to the airport for from 2 weeks to 24 hours prior to your departure. Fill out the pre-booking form sa Joyride link or scan the QR code to fill out the pre-booking form. For inquiries, you may call Joyride Super Taxi Hatid Airport Hotline at 0920-948-6550 Monday to Friday.
Thank you.
717 Deli, serving quality classic premium sandwiches. Treat yourself to a feel-good meal today. Located at the 3rd floor, 53 Connecticut Street, Green Hills, San Juan. 717 Deli, keep you smiling with every bite.
Thank you.
Skin Your Face and Body Anti-Aging Center with branches at Alabang Town Center in Green Hills, San Juan. For your skin assessment and treatment schedule, please call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886.
Thank you.
Rudy Project Shades. Get ready for a game-changing partnership. We proudly welcome Rudy Project, your go-to for premium sports eyewear and gear. Elevate your performance and style with Rudy Project.
Thank you.
Akari Lighting.
Thank you.
Smart. Live more today.
Thank you.
And Shakey's. Get ready, sports fans. Order the Shakey Super League bundle of classic and gold starting September 28 for a limited time only. For every bundle sold, 50 pesos will be donated to your chosen university. Visit your nearest Shakey's store or order via the Shakey's Super App. Shakey's, there's no better time than Shakey's.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga tagapagtaguyod, partner. Alright, at this point, eto na ang ating huling bisita ngayong araw pong ito. Siya po ang pinagmamalaki nating tennis phenom ng Pilipinas at siya po ang ating nakasama sa In the Spotlight. Sa kasalukuyan po siya ay number 149 sa mundo sa tennis ng Women's Pro. At siya po ay nakapanalo ng 2 titulo ngayong taong ito. Doon po sa Espanya, hindi po sa UST, sa Espanya. Alright, mga kaibigan, ang ating pong panayam sa ating pinagmamalaking tennis phenom, Alex Eala. Hi Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me again, Tito Noli.
It's been a while. I know you've been so busy, but of course everybody's been following you. And, maybe I'll go straight to the point. This is your second full year in the Women's Pro Tour. And, you've had a really interesting year so far. How would you say have you adjusted to the life in the tour?
Well, I love life on tour. Syempre, this is what I've been dreaming of since I was young. No, but it's true. It's very vigorous. It's a lot of traveling. It's nonstop physical activity, and of course, it's also mentally very challenging. But I'm enjoying every moment of it, and I'm happy with the results I've been getting the past few months. I think I'm very happy with my level of tennis, and I think there's still so much room for improvement.
Well, the other time, I was reading this article about a professional tennis player, and one of the things that she was saying was that one of the hardest things about the Pro Tour is belonging, feeling like you belong. Do you feel like your peers have accepted you on the tour and that you belong already with them?
Well, that's a good question. I think I still have so much more to achieve. I'm still new on the tour, especially on the WTA tour. So I think there's so much more I can show people. And as I said a while ago, a big room for improvement. So I feel like, I'm excited to see how my tennis progresses and the year's not done yet. I have a couple WTA tournaments lined up, so I'm working hard to do well in those. And of course, I've gotten to know a lot of people, a lot of the other players, and they're on the same journey essentially. So I think it's important to know that even though they're competitors, we're all just chasing our dreams, and we have to learn to get along, because in the end, these are people that you're going to be seeing very often, especially when you get to the top level.
Kumbaga, sila din ang dadaanan mo as you go up to whatever point
Yeah.
you will get in your career. It's been an interesting career thus far and an interesting season so far for you. You've won a couple of crowns. You've reached your highest ranking this year. Of course, you were knocking at the door of the majors also, and of course, you qualified for your first main draw in the WTA 500 in Guadalajara in Mexico. Assess your year, Alex. How do you feel you assess this year, considering that all of the victories as well as the near misses?
Oh yeah, the near misses I think are the ones that that stick with you a lot. But I think some of the most memorable tournaments this year have been the Grand Slams, especially because I was so close to qualifying for main draw in three of them, three of the four. But in the end, after those matches, there's so much to learn and so much to be happy about. But then, of course, it motivates me because ayoko na mag-qualifying. Sana sa susunod na Grand Slam, direct major na. But of course, it's a big goal. And it cannot be achieved without being backed up with work, with the day-to-day work. But aside from that, the highlight of my year has been winning the 100K in Spain.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest title ever in my whole career.
Right.
And I won singles and doubles. It was a dream week, and I was just so happy to have achieved that this year. Before
you were mentioning that ayaw mo na dumaan doon sa qualifying. Of course, that's a lot of work as you mentioned. Pero gaano ka kalayo, Alex, from consistently making the main draw? What do you think? Are you still far away?
Well, that's a tough question because I feel that the level of the Grand Slam qualifying is so close. They're all so close together. Kaya pag nakikita mo sa main draw, ang daming mga upset, lalo na in the first few rounds. Well, that's a tough question to answer because if you look at my results, in Roland Garros, in the last round, I lost third set 6-4. In Wimbledon, I lost to someone who got to quarters in the last round of quali, also 7-5, 7-6. And then just this US Open, I was 2 games away from getting to Mexico. But I would say that I'm very close. Not just in terms of the results, but also in terms of how I feel on court and just to see my progression and the matches that I've won, tough matches these past couple of months. So I'm very happy with that. And if I can keep the trajectory of the improvement going, then I think it's bound to happen at some point.
And of course, sky's the limit. You're really picking up momentum. But when you look at your game, what is the biggest improvement you think that gives you confidence in your game? Because I'll give you an example. For instance, when I look at you, you're obviously hitting much stronger. You're getting to the balls much faster, and clearly you've become strong, more fit. Your physique looks more fit on television. So, what has been the biggest improvement for you, Alex?
Well, definitely fitness is a huge part of it, but also I think learning how to use my strengths and optimizing the strengths that I have, and then just trying to be very quick on my feet, very quick reactions. That's another thing that I'm working on, and of course, just the consistency of the level of tennis and not to go up and down and be very erratic. Just keep a consistent level of tennis and being able to play kind of above average or a good average after a number of weeks, throughout a number of months. Yeah.
You've had, based on your statistics this year, your pro win-loss record is 35-25, which is about 58% win rate. And your win rate in grass as well as in a hard court is the highest at 63%. And of course, in clay, because you played the least in clay so far. Would you say na mas komportable ka talaga, Alex, now sa hard court and of course maybe a little bit of grass?
Well, syempre, lumaki talaga ako sa hard. Wala namang clay sa Pilipinas. Of course, there's shell. But growing up, I think we kind of avoided playing on shell because it wasn't, the goal was always to compete internationally, and wala namang shell court international. So I think my game really suits hard court better. And it's true that the clay court seasons are shorter, so I don't get to compete as much. I do. This year, clay was actually very fun. I liked it. I have struggled a bit in the previous years, but I think as the level of tennis improves, then how I feel the court, how I compose my shots or compose the rallies, will get better and better. And of course, that needs experience. And grass, on the other hand, I really like grass. It's definitely different, and it's something everybody needs to adjust to because it's such a short period of the year.
Right.
But it's very different when you go and you smell the grass, and it looks very social. And,
Social.
lalo na in Wimbledon. So it gives a different aesthetic, and syempre it adds to motivation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always nice to see you in all of these settings because, it's rare that we see a Filipino walking around in the center court and, seeing all of these crowds. And talking about that, the U.S. Open, when you played the U.S. Open, the crowds were enormous. In fact,
yes, they were.
May mga narratives, may mga diskurso, may mga reports na talagang fascinated, amazed ang mga officials, even your opponents and your co-players about the kind of crowds that were watching your games, not even in center court, no? It's never been seen. What was that like for you, Alex?
Wow, I was so proud and so motivated because they were really filling up the courts. And then with every match, they had to give me a bigger court kasi hindi nakasya yung mga tao sa, sa paligid. And it was a crazy atmosphere. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that before. And syempre wala akong home tournament na women's. So I feel so fortunate to be able to experience that in the biggest stage of tennis, literally in New York, in the US Open. And it meant so much to me because also a lot of, as you said, a lot of players, a lot of officials were coming up to me and they didn't know that there was such a huge Filipino community in New York. And I'm like, yeah, we have huge Filipino communities everywhere. And, I'm just so grateful that they took times out of their day and they made the effort to come and watch.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's very difficult to get in, but really the Filipinos packed it. What's your reaction? Just a side note on the crowds, because many of those who watch you, are not so familiar with tennis etiquette, and we saw that in the US Open, that final game before the main draw that you could have won, and actually. Obviously, your opponent there in the first set was very frustrated. I watched that, and she was even looking at the crowd. But what is your reaction, and how do you what's your mindset with respect to that?
Well, first of all, I think the rule of tennis is you cannot pay attention to. That's the rule. You cannot pay attention to whatever is outside the court. Of course, there's a reason why tennis, isn't like other sports where you're moving around all of the time. I think it adds to the ambience, and it's a really different experience to go and watch a tennis match, and you can feel the tension in the air when nobody's talking, and it's just a different experience from other sports and other, especially team sports. But it's part of the game, there's always going to be in a big crowd some people who aren't very aware that it's not very proper to clap after a double fault or I mean, it's normal, it's part of the game, and I've definitely had my fair share of people cheering for my opponents in a improper way, and in the end I can't complain about that. I've played in stadiums of thousands of people that were all for my opponent, or I've played in stadiums with hundreds of people for me. So it's going to be a different experience every match. And I think part of the game and part of being mentally strong is to know how to handle those moments and not be disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kasi syempre, ibang level na yung nilalaruan mo. And, a lot of our fans obviously have not seen this level. And that's why, kahit pa paano, naninibago pa. But I'm sure as your many fans go and follow you, especially in the US, I'm sure, matututo din sila sa paano ang maging fan ng isang tennis game. Talking about the struggles, in the US Open, of course, we also saw you had a medical timeout, a couple of them actually during the match. How are you? How is your condition? What was that all about? Is there anything to be concerned about at this point?
Well, no, right now I'm healthy, physically very healthy. No, it just gets, it's normal to have some pains and it takes a toll on your body. The US Open was maybe my 4th week competing in the US. So a lot of matches, a lot of training, so a lot of load. And it's normal. Sometimes you get pain and you need relief to keep playing at a certain level. And that's why medical timeouts are there. But thankfully, it wasn't a serious injury or anything that took me off the court. Yeah.
For the full interview po ni Alex, medyo naubusan tayo ng oras. Please catch it sa aming Facebook page. Yun po yung full interview. Kasi napag-usapan pa niya yung impact ng retirement ng kanyang mother sa kanya. Nag-retire na po yung kanyang mother mula sa isang telco, being the CFO of that telco. At ngayon, full-time stage mom na rin. Parang tatay niya, stage dad. Oy, Mike, maraming salamat sa in-arrange mo kay Alex. And Alex, good luck. Alright, before tayo magtapos, partner, announce natin ang ating mga winners sa Joyride Top-Up promo. Ang nanalo po ng ating 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits, Adrian Palomo, Romelin Loyola, Wendell Paneda, Pearl Guro at si Wilmer Cerezo. At ang Aqua Flask winner naman, April Joy Ignes at si Rafael Opolinto. Congratulations sa inyo lahat mula sa Joyride Super App. Partner, another Saturday. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din, partner.
Kita-kita tayo next week, ha?
Oo.
By the way, next week, marami pa tayong pag-usapan. EASL, pag-usapan po natin ang parating na EASL.
Magandang
next week po yan.
Alright,
again, lagi po natin sinasabi tuwing Sabado, bawal po ang masungit at sana'y mahusay kayo sa inyong kalagayan. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inay ko po.
Happy sporty weekend sa inyo.
More power
and more play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo, ipag-iwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Aniga. Sama-sama pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko